Michigan, but we've got a really special member of Congress who's up next. Freshman member, Congresswoman Deb Ross from North Carolina, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you so much to everybody who's testified today on this crucial issue. I represent the 2nd District in North Carolina, which is the Research Triangle area, and we are a very STEM-focused area. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was the special guest for a STEM charter school that drew people from several municipalities, several counties, and let me tell you, the diversity of the young women at that charter school was something to behold. But I have North Carolina State University in my district, land grant STEM university that gets a fair amount of money from the National Science Foundation and is doing really well. I was with them and the second gentleman and the Secretary of Transportation last week, seeing all the amazing work that they're doing in engineering and other areas. I also represent 2 HBCUs that used to have medical schools, and they very much want to be able to benefit from research funding and offer more STEM to their students. But both presidents of these HBCUs, Shaw and St. Aug's, said that they simply do not have some of the infrastructure and the equipment to do that kind of research. And so I'll direct this first to Dr. Blasey and then anybody else who wants to pipe in. How can NSF help with that just the capacity building? Because the talent and the students and the desire are all there.
Yes, thank you for that question, Congresswoman Ross. Well, it gets back to that partnership to build the intellectual capacity. It's not enough for students just to visit, and it takes time for the faculty to learn the technology and the intellectual aspects of a new topic. So one way is fellowships with the already established universities. And then those individuals, those faculty members, those scientists can take back that expertise back to their school. And these days, the partnership can be virtual. So, but I think really a partnership to get the intellectual expertise. Infrastructure is a problem for emerging research institutions. NSF does have a program, major research instrumentation program and medium scale. And I think the answer is to increase the funding for those programs, which is in the bill, but to be mindful of how those resources are distributed to broaden research opportunity.
Okay. I also have a question for Dr. Farooq. Also at NC State, which gets a fair amount of NSF funding, international students make up 35% of their graduate student population. As a matter of fact, my husband got his graduate degree in engineering there, and he said he was one of the only US citizens in his graduate program. But we need all of these graduate students for the research that we do here. And in your testimony, you talked about how, in your words, you were an early contributor to the leaky pipeline problem in STEM. How can we be more inviting of those graduate students? I also serve on the Judiciary Committee, and we're dealing with some necessary changes, I hope, to our immigration laws. But tell me how you think we can keep this talent here in the United States after we've educated these wonderful people.
Well, thank you for that question. The STEM problem, that leaky pipeline problem that in my time is actually very different from the STEM problem that we are seeing now. For instance, I have a student who graduated from Carnegie Mellon University in computer science, and he interned with Apple, interned with DARPA, and he is now touring with bands to do their sound system because he just does not find what our big tech is doing as it doesn't agree with his moral or ethical position. So there's a lot of concerns about big tech that fresh graduates they're feeling, and that's why there is a network of 31 universities called Public Interest Technology University Network that the New America Foundation started and my institution is a part of. They're trying to address this gap that, our technology is obviously meeting our market needs, but not addressing our societal values. So that, we can retain, because the nonprofit sector is not big enough for these talents. Now, in terms of retaining students, the competition in abroad is very different now, because there's a lot of places, a lot of options to go for people. So we need to be actually trying to grow our home talent here at home as much as we can. And to go back to the question about HBCU and community, and also the previous question about community college, we need to give them an infrastructure to participate. When I was at the City University of New York, which also has a group of community colleges, we had a two-tiered granting program where the community colleges competed with community colleges. Because what happens is when they come in big grants as a partner, the large universities dominate and they don't have any opportunity to participate. When I was at Purdue University, I was part of an university transportation centers. We had members of Martin University, for example, in Indianapolis. They just could not participate in any of the activities or any of the research projects we were doing. So it's kind of bringing also an equity in the system for these also part of our R&D system for them to participate, because they're going to become very, very important as we make this transition. As the point made earlier that about 2 years colleges, as we transition, people are not going to go back and get a 4-year degree. And this will be the quickest way to a change in career. So future of work and so forth. So I think NSF can pay attention to that and look at examples that are around.
Thank you very much. And I've exceeded my time, Madam Chair. I yield back.